up. And he said, and then his hands were steady. That's the same word that's used for faithfulness. God is steady. Great is his steadiness. His mercy begins fresh every morning. That word mercy means his looking at you going, man, I am really concerned about you. Every morning, he's not tired from what happened the last time. He's not tired by the effects of what you may have done to mess up your life. It's not tired because you feel broken down. It's you every morning, him going, I am rock solid for you, and I love you so much. It is new every morning. If you start this year or this decade feeling like you've been beat down, God says, my steadiness and my concern for you hasn't stopped. And I'm going to take you to a new day. Because look, I make everything new. Continuing in verse 25, the Lord, Lamentations 3, the Lord is good to those who depend on him, to those who search for him. So it is good to wait quietly for salvation from the Lord. If you felt like you've been going through hell, maybe it's because you've been fighting so hard, so long, and God says, look, let me save you. Let me get you out of the pit. I got something new. I'm going to make everything new for you. If you are here feeling broken, feeling tired, feeling worn out, feel like God's made you dirty, he says, I'm there. My faithfulness is new. I've brought you through this discipline, through this time, for whatever reason. And I don't have an easy reason why God has brought you through it. But he says, I got something new for you. It's a new year. It's a new decade. It's new. If you look back at this decade and you say, man, this decade rocked. God has a message for you as well. Revelation 21:5. Look, I make everything new. Your Lamentations, go back about 2 books, back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 43. I'll start in verse 15. You're just a few pages back. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 15. And Isaiah's talking to the Israelites. Israelites have this great heritage. They have this heritage of being God's chosen people. They were in Egypt as slaves for 400 plus years, and God comes down and sets them free. These amazing, amazing plagues fall on Egypt until he takes them out. He takes them and he sends them out into the wilderness to take them to the promised land. The Egyptians go, wait a second, we want our slaves back. They come out after them with a big old army to come after a bunch of ragtag slaves. And they pin them between the Red Sea and mountains. And the Israelites are like, oh my word, we're going to die. And Moses takes this big staff and he reaches out across the water and the water parts and they walk through on dry ground. The army chases in after them. Moses looks back as everyone out of the water, strikes the rod back, and the waves come crashing over the Egyptian army, washes them away. They have this heritage, okay, of what God has done for them. In Isaiah 43, starting in verse 15, God says this, I am the Lord, your Holy One, Israel's Creator and King. I'm the Lord who opened a way through the waters, making a dry path through the sea. I'm saying that's a cool thing. If you look back and say, man, there's this miracle that God did in my life. He moved the mountains, he parted the sea. It's cool, I'm good with that. I called forth the mighty army of Egypt with its chariots and horses. I drew them beneath the waves and they drowned. Their lives snuffed out like solar candle wick. Boom, gone. But look at what he says in verse 18. Isaiah 43, verse 18. But forget all that. It's nothing compared to what I'm going to do. I mean, because if you've gone through, if you've seen the water part, and you walk through on dry ground, and you've seen your enemies dash in the waves, and horses and stuff that are just gone, that are after to attack you, you're like, yeah, man, God rocks, man, God's always been there, God's awesome. And he says, look, stop remembering these stories, because they're stopping you from seeing what I'm going to do for you in the future, because what I'm going to do for you makes that look like child play. Jesus looks at his disciples before he leaves. He looks at this ragtag group of people, probably a lot of them college-age students, and he looks at them and says, okay guys, you've just seen me raise the dead, you've seen me heal people of leprosy, you've seen me take people and couldn't walk and make them walk, withered arms, have whole arms, demon-possessed, cast out. Guess what? When I leave, you're going to do greater stuff than this. Don't get stuck on what I did. And I believe that message is as true for us. God says, don't get stuck on what happened when Jesus was here, because I want to do even greater things than that. Don't get stuck on the past. Forget all that. It's nothing compared to what I'm going to do. If you're coming off this year going, man, it was great. Hallelujah. Forget about it. God's going to do something even greater. Andy Stanley is a pastor in Atlanta. He's a great visionary. Speaks on leadership and visioning. He says this. It's power. When your memories, listen to this carefully, when your memories exceed your dreams,